I'm going to be turning you off and on so that I don't have to concentrate on staring at the video screen all the time. I'll just pick little sound bites that are opportunities to show the good stuff. Well, I can see I should have put a little bug dope on her. Got some insects out here that okay, it's our first opportunity to over a deadfall. See, when she's going down the trail, she's just not missing a beat. You don't have to be on her. She walks because that's what she does naturally. And her attitude is always just so good. You can see no matter how bad the flies are, her ears are up, she's looking forward, and we're moving along, we're having fun. It's just a great feeling to ride a horse that enjoys what you're doing with, you know, in the process. She's enjoying being ridden the way we're enjoying riding her. No water. But we have mud. You can hear it squishing between her feet. No hesitation on her part. She just goes. Yeah. What I'm trying to show right now is not just how willingly she goes across a lot of different types of terrain, but how consistent her gait is. She doesn't change her gait whether she's going uphill, downhill, across sand, gravel, mud. She is just one of the most natural walking horses I've ever broke. And there's been a lot of them.
Afraid of getting mucky.
Really?
Yeah, he's kind of getting
Your daddy thinks you're pretty cute.
Here, I can let you out here.
No. This is something I want video of.
Oh.
Because I'm showing a 3-year-old horse with 90 days of training. And people want to own horses that do this stuff. So they don't, you know, you can say a horse is a deluxe pleasure horse, but if you can't prove it on video to sell them, then it's a fair chance you might find out they're not as deluxe as you thought they were.
What's the matter, boy?
Oh, girl. Don't back up, honey. Don't back up. Okay. Get on. That's a good girl. Yes. Ah, this old gal with spurs on and a saddle blanket on this is kind of a fun little exercise for me. for being a grandma. Start. It's literally going to be a matter of about 3 minutes. As you can see, this horse is very mountable and manageable, even for somebody who really isn't a great rider. What I'm going to teach you here, Jason, is the body positioning you need to ride a horse bareback. And one thing that anybody that can ride a horse well bareback will know is that you can stay on the back of any horse with any type of equipment, even if your saddle pad or girth is too loose or breaks. And it's got to do with how you sit on the horse and how you use your body, not with the equipment that you're in. And the best way to learn that is without equipment. Mm-hmm. So the first thing you're going to find when you sit on a horse's back without equipment is what the most comfortable spot is, which generally is right after the withers. These are the withers right here. The shoulders come up into the withers, okay? So what you'll find is that when you ride a horse bareback, you're more in a sitting position, and it definitely takes muscles that you're not used to using. So you'll be stiff for a little while. You're getting more stretching. When you relax your legs are going to come down like they are for you in the saddle. Mm-hmm. There's just no support for the feet, okay? Mm-hmm. But when you're riding the horse, to make sure that you stay upright, even if that horse jumps to the side or if they stumble forward, mm-hmm. you just can put if they stumble and go down on their front knees, you put your hand right mm-hmm. here, and it's no different than having a saddle horn, except it's actually more sturdy because you're not depending on something that's slipping back and forth on the horse. And when you realize that, then you realize it's not the saddle that keeps you safe, it's you and how you ride that horse. So when you're riding that horse, when you're bareback, you're going to be using these adductor muscles here, and you're going to sit more like you're sitting in a chair, actually. You're going to bring your knees forward, sit more like you're sitting in a chair. And you're just going to give a little pressure. And if you can see where my feet are up by the front legs. It's not like going over on I'm a 54-year-old lady. It's not like going over on a barrel the way it is when you're sitting back with your legs back here and you're depending on a girth. If that girth loosens up, breaks, or in any effort you just kind of lose your balance and lay too heavy in the stirrup and the saddle gets tipped, if you're depending on that saddle, you're in a bad way. And anybody that's been dumped off that way, and most beginner riders have, because they've never been taught this, most beginner riders know that that's not fun. It's really scary and it's very potentially dangerous. A lot of people have been hurt badly by that. So this is the first thing a person should really learn, is if they should get a horse that's quiet enough first to safely learn. And I got my legs up here, they're right here. There's no slipping off this horse. There's no going off his head. There's no flying back here. Mm-hmm. Your legs will be stiff here for a couple days mm-hmm. until you've developed those muscles, which takes all of about 2 weeks, 5 rides over 2 weeks, and the muscles are developed. They won't be stiff anymore. But the rest of it, you will find that if you ride your horse bareback, at least occasionally, that you're going to know your horse better. Not just the nutty things that he might do, that's the least of the things that you really need to know. because you want to, if you have a positive relationship with your horse, you shouldn't have to worry about him doing nutty things. You know, even a horse that's more of a type A personality, or a little higher keyed horse, more tightly strung, if you have a good positive relationship with them, then it is what it is. It's a good positive relationship, and you don't have to, you know, either of these horses could be extremely high strung if I were to give them the message that that's what's going on here, you know, because they're reactive. They're horses, they're reactive, they're herbivores, they run from danger. So they have to turn the volume up on their fight and flight, you know, immediately. So the main thing is keeping a very positive, relaxed feel with your horse so that you're not inducing behaviors that should never happen. And then you get on with riding them. And the main thing that you always remember is if your head and shoulders are straight up above their spine, you will never tip over and fall off. And it's pretty simple. You fall off once, you realize you don't want to do that again. So it's best to learn what it takes to not fall off. Keep your head and shoulders centered on this horse, and you won't fall off. Now this is an extremely naturally gaited horse, and she just does it, because that's what she was bred to do. This guy here, if I were riding him, I'd have to be paying attention to collect him up more, or he'd be getting a little rough. That's what makes him a better show horse, though, because he's got that loose, swingy kind of way of being that when you compress it with collection, it gets real animated and looks beautiful. So she's a good show horse too, as a light shod pleasure horse or versatility horse. You can tell by her nature and her disposition. This is a 3-year-old with 90 days under saddle. I ride with a pad, and it's or a blanket. It's harder to ride with a blanket underneath you because a blanket is slippery and it doesn't have anything holding it in place. I hold this blanket in place. A beginner rider's not going to be able to do that. They're gonna get it. It's gonna get slippery and they're gonna want to fall off. So. If you've got a saddle pad that's got a girth and you're a beginner learning how to ride bareback, that's great. But throw the stirrups away because it'll make you dependent on something that you shouldn't be dependent on. You should be dependent on your position, your seated position like I'm in right now. And that is a bareback riding lesson in 15 minutes. And this is Miss Sally Snips, a 3-year-old with 90 days of training. Rock on.